This is Russell Fagan, aka Sinistral Rifleman, and this is my video for the Two Gun Action Challenge match held May 18th, 2019 at the Pima Pistol Club. I'm using this match to continue my evaluation of the Brownells BRN 180 upper for an upcoming article in Recoil magazine. I have equipped the upper with a Vortex Crossfire red dot zeroed at 50 yards. I also replaced the flash hider with a Griffin Armament flash comp to help mitigate the muzzle climb. The handguard does tend to get hot very quickly, so I've put one of my SHTF wraps around it to mitigate the heat transfer. The upper is mounted to a K-Arms billet flared magwell lower with ambidextrous controls and SLT2 Searlink technology trigger. The side folding SIG stock is installed via a KNS MCX/MPX stock adapter that threads in where the buffer tube normally would go. There are 3 rifle-only stages and 1 pistol-only stage at this match. I started on the pistol-only stage. I'm going to include it in this video for the complete match experience, and I think there's something that everyone can learn from watching this section of the match as well to improve their efficiency. This stage is a variation of the Iron Cross drill. The shooter must get 2 hits on each of these steel targets from each of these positions. From the first position, the targets are about 30 yards away. I was pushing the speed a little bit too much for the distance and caused myself some misses from that first position. Dropping partial magazines is a penalty at this match, so I do a reload with retention as I move back to the center position. This actually takes longer than it would have if I simply shot empty, ditched the empty, and did a speed reload. Balancing speed and accuracy is something one needs to constantly work on. If you're making consistent hits, push the speed until you fail. Then dial the speed back until you start making consistent hits again. Pushing your limits back and forth in each area will allow you to become a better, more well-rounded shooter overall. I was 2nd armored and 3rd overall on this stage. On this stage there are 2 Q targets at 200 yards and 2 1/3 IPSC targets at 100 yards. The shooter must get 1 hit on each from each of these positions marked by the hula hoop. Getting fast sight pictures and quick hits is important on a stage like this, but getting in and out of positions is equally important. Because this is in a loose sandy area, I'm comfortable sliding down on my knees into each position with my Arc'teryx kneecaps. When I know I've gotten the hit, I allow the recoil to help redirect the rifle over to the next target. Bipods are allowed in armored and open division at this match. Using one makes stages like this much more simple. I was 1st armored and 1st overall on this stage. This stage requires that the shooter begin shooting with their right shoulder around the right side of this barricade. The second position is underneath the barricade, and I move close to the stairs, making my transition to shoot through the stairs much more simple, with less movement. There's 2 targets at 50 yards on this stage. Each one must be hit twice from each position. I simplified the next engagement by shooting around the left side of the barricade from the stairs. The final position is from the top of the stairs, not touching anything else. I am 1st armored and 1st overall on this stage. On this stage, the shooter is only allowed 2 rounds from each position, and they must transition between targets between each shot fired. After firing 2 rounds, they must move under the sticks. Disrupting a stick and knocking it off the barrels is a procedural penalty. On a stage like this, it's very important to completely set up your shot and stabilize before sending it. The time lost on the stage isn't with the miss, it's with the added movement required to make up those shots when you miss. On this engagement, I feel the barricade shift as I send my 2nd shot. I know I'm going to have to come back and engage from the center again. We have to keep repeating this process until we have a total of 10 hits. On this stage, I was 1st armored and 4th overall. So close to having a perfect run on this one, but I am not infallible. The data point learned from this is to stabilize at just that 10% longer to make sure I send the shot cleanly when dealing with a rickety prop like that. In the end, I was 1st out of 8 in armored division and 1st out of 48 overall. I know some of you are thinking, he didn't talk about the upper at all. How do I know if I should buy one or not? Well, as I've mentioned before, my opinions on these things are formed over time over the course of multiple matches. So when I do a video like this and I'm talking about the match and the tactics and techniques I'm using to win the stages, or at least perform well on them, If I don't talk about the gun, it means that the gun is working just fine. You can see all the rounds fired on video and that the gun cycled reliably, and I think you can tell from the results that it was not a hindrance for me in any way. If something hinders me or holds me back, I tend not to like it, regardless of any other theoretical advantages it may have. If something does work and allows me to make full use of my shooting skills and abilities, it's safe to say that I do like it, barring any weird maintenance or long-term durability issues. I do have a couple more matches and other tests I'm going to perform before concluding my article. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Come back again for more match and multi-gun competition content.